Look, if you're trying to sell someone on something, whether that's where to go for eat, whether that's your product, actually a business idea, proposal, whatever it may be, I want you to understand that the value of that product, at least the perception of the value of that product or that offer that you're offering, is always going to determine a lot of whether someone's going to say yes or no and in what capacity, right? Because humans always will move towards pleasure, right, and away from pain. So let's say that your product seems to have a lot of pain and low pleasure. It's going to be very low in value. But value is something that's always comparative, okay? So if you want to really shift these dynamics around a bit, then I want to introduce you to a little technique that you can use in your selling. And selling can be anything, right? It can be in your communication, whatever you want to do. And I'm going to give you some examples of it. So relative value simply means that anything and everything is relative for humans, right? So it really means that obviously this room is pretty bright now, right? Because there's a white light in front of me. So if I look into this white light for about 5 seconds and then I look away, now this is going to be a lot less bright because I was just looking at a damn LED light, okay? It's pretty damn simple, but that's how it works. So it's relative what anything means or what anything looks like or how valuable something is. And the funny thing is that you can really make something seem a lot more valuable just by comparing it with something else, okay? So I'll give you an example. In some of my sales presentations or in a sales setting or whatever, what I may or may not do sometimes is I might price anchor someone to something, okay? And so that price anchor, the way that works is like you start saying, like for example, let's say that I am trying to sell someone group coaching or a course or whatever, which is going to be just 5K, 2K, whatever. Let's say that in that sales presentation or in the video or whatever it may be in the conversation, I start mentioning, briefly, like here and there, like, oh yeah, people work with me for like 100 grand, right? Which people do for like a year, right, of coaching. And so I start price anchoring that or like 50K or whatever, very big prices, right? Now, if I say this the whole time and then I come out with 2K, 5K or whatever, now this seems much less because I've just price anchored you to this, right? Because you think that what I'm going to be selling is going to be this or very close to it, right? Now, I'll give you a different example. I was talking to a friend and this was just very funny. And I'll give you a few examples on how you can also use this in your personal life because it's kind of funny to work with. So I was talking to a friend the other day and then, he was going to get a room in my villa, which I'm having in Bali. And then basically he was just whining about the price. Let's just say it was 5K or whatever, just for him. To get the room. And then I was just as for fun using some of these things on this guy. So I was saying that, oh yeah, it's going to be 5K a month. And then also there's obviously going to be a security bond, right? So it was like going to be 5 grand a month. And then I told him, oh yeah, there's also going to be a security bond, which is going to be 1 month of the rent, right? So there's another 5 grand. So it's going to be 10K right now, right? And so obviously he was like, oh, God damn it, why does it need to be a whole month of security bond? So I need to pay 10 grand right now, whatever, okay? So anyways, it's a while back, but it's a funny story. And so I was talking to him like this, and I was selling him on the price of being 10 grand, which is obviously a lot of, it's more pain because it's 10 grand, okay? And then I sold him eventually on this, okay? And he was totally cool with it and whatever. But I sold him on the 10K for, including the security bond as well. And then right after he said, okay, yeah, I'm gonna transfer it right now. I told him, oh, and by the way, the security bond is actually only, what was it? It was actually only like $500 or something, right? Which is like 1/10. So then he was like super happy about paying the $500 security bond. But initially, if you think about it, without that relative concept, the $500 security thing, it just seems like a negative. It seems right here because it's all negative. But because I put it in relativity to something that it could have been, which is way more expensive, and I sold, and especially since I sold them on this first. Now I'm saying sold them on this, obviously it's my friend, didn't really have to sell him, but you get the point that I'm trying to make. This then seemed that much more positive to the guy. Okay, now obviously, guys, just a side note, I didn't have to sell him on getting the room, whatever, he's doing quite well for himself. I just do these things as a fun thing. just for my own entertainment purposes and also to make other people feel good. Now, a different example that I'll give you is this. So I stayed with my little brother, and I love to do this to where, you know, for example, the guy really loves burgers, right? And then he'll, you know, almost come home and I'll say like, oh yeah, I ordered us some food or whatever. Or like I'll say to him, I didn't order us food, you know, what do you want to eat? And I'll make him believe that there's not going to be food for like an hour or whatever. And then after that, after saying that and him believing that and him being in a lot of pain because he's really damn hungry, I'll then actually, you know, I just sell him on the idea that food is not going to be there for an hour, right? And now he's thinking that, and then all of a sudden the doorbell goes and the burgers are delivered and he's just that much more happy with the burgers because at first the contrast is so much bigger. Now obviously it's just a dumb example, right? But it's kind of funny how you can play with these things. And you know, like if you have a girlfriend or something, you can do the same to where like you say that she wants to go on a holiday with you. And you just sell her on the fact that you're not going to be able to travel for the next 6 months because you're busy with a work project or whatever. And you just sell her on that. Obviously, it's a white lie, guys. I mean, come on. But you sell her on that, and then you give her a surprise holiday. It's going to be that much more valuable to her. It's going to be that much more pleasurable because it's way more of a contrast. Okay? So anyways, use this principle for yourself. And if you're in sales setting, guys, you can use the price anchor to really anchor someone to so much more pain and still being willing to do it. And then if you ask them for that much less, it's going to be so much easier. Right? So just be aware of the power of that relativity for humans, because without comparing something, we don't know what something means. We don't know what the value of something is, right? So you always have to use this in your favor rather than against you or against what you're trying to do, okay? So be aware of it, use it, implement it. Don't manipulate the fuck out of people, but do it for good. And I'll see you in the next one.